So The Last of Us Part 1 PC port situation is actually hilarious, and it's even more hilarious when you start reading things that people have to say about it, and maybe I will be a clown myself for my honest take about this whole situation, but let's start from the beginning. The Last of Us Part 1 is the third remaster of the original The Last of Us game that was released in 2013, and time flies. I know, it seems like it was yesterday I was playing this game on my PS3, so I refuse to call this game a remake. I'm sorry, I don't care how many people are going to say to me that this is a remake. Crash Bandicoot Trilogy was deemed as remastered, and it was made from scratch and changed more things than The Last of Us remake changed. So for me, it's a remaster, and release of this absolutely amazing PC port is the fourth release of the same game, and everyone from PC Master Base camp waited, and they were greeted by this shader compilation that lasts for some people up to 2 hours, and I'm not kidding. Me with my RTX 3060 and i9 10900, it took an hour to compile shaders. It is a joke. So you basically sit and wait till the game lets you play, because if you try to not waste your time and you will go in without waiting for shader compilation to finish, you are greeted by this. The Last of Please Wait part, please wait. This is what's happened. This is what happens, and I wouldn't say the game stutters, but this is happening constantly. You're basically unable to play the game at this point. So you sit and wait. You go make yourself a coffee, wait, and after your refund window on Steam has passed because you waited 2 hours for shader compilation to finish, you are allowed to try the game. To be completely honest, the performance on my end was mid, and we have to consider the fact that day before I finished playing Resident Evil 4 Remake on ultra maximum settings with stable 60 FPS, and even managed to keep those 60 FPS for 99% of the time with OBS recording the game footage. So in here we have really weak performance that stutters and lags on medium settings. Yeah, at the same time, on the same device that runs Resident Evil 4 on Ultra. So what the fuck happened? And a Resident Evil game is way better looking than this one. Played around with the settings, changed a few things back and forth, OBS without OBS going on, and I came to conclusion that the game optimization doesn't really exist. There isn't much difference between high and ultra settings, mostly shadows and lighting, but medium, the difference is noticeable. To let you know, the game chose for me settings recommended for my rig, high mixed with ultra, and the game refuses to function properly. The biggest hit was without compiled shaders. The game worked more stable than after shader compilation finished, especially within the audio aspect. After shader compilation finished, I started playing the game, and very often I hear my audio start crackling. Something that is really infuriating when you're playing the game. To that we can add that on high settings the game tends to have a heavy lag or stutter, whatever you want to call it, when you shoot the gun. So I proceeded to play around for the sake of testing, and I proceeded to play on medium settings and sometimes reloading the same sequences on high to see how it's going to impact the performance of the game, and nothing really changes. Games stutters the same audio problems, with an exception that on medium the game doesn't stutter when you shoot the gun. Mixing high with medium settings make this game playable with okay-ish graphics that don't hurt my eyes, and you see the game worked on 60 FPS until the more open terrain, when it drops to 50 and then tries to desperately stabilize itself, but most of the time fails. GPU is constantly almost at full use, and it's hot. I mean, 90 is really something that I wouldn't say is good for your GPU. I could cook a dinner for a whole family on this PC right now. I didn't encounter so far any like game breaking bugs or really heavy graphical problems, but we can see on the Twitters, Reddits, that those exist. Something is wrong with the port itself, not only in the optimization sphere, but also within the bugs that exist and didn't exist before on the PlayStation 5 edition. And if you want to know who's responsible for this amazing port, it's Iron Galaxy Studio, the studio that brought you Arkham Knight to PC, the one that was taken off the sale because the game didn't work like it should. And I'm really surprised to see that people that talk about games for a living saying that somehow this is Naughty Dog's fault. If it's someone's fault, it's Sony's. It's Sony that hired Iron Galaxy, the greatest studio, to port one of your most important games. How ill you have to be to hire Iron Galaxy for the port of one of your most important games at the time, because we have to add the fact that the popularity of the show from HBO would allow you to capitalize more on the game than without the show existing in the first place on in a different time period. So if it worked, they could have actually earned a lot of money. Right now the people are actually refunding the game and they do the right thing. Some Steam reviews also go out of the way to write that the game doesn't work and they have 0.2 hours in game time, letting us know that they didn't even wait for the shaders to complete compiling, and this game takes at least 15 minutes to do that. So, which is extremely long, yes, and you shouldn't be required to wait, yes, but if you are going to write a review that the game doesn't work, at least finish the compiling of the shaders. And the loading time of this game takes up to 2 minutes to load the game itself, and you wait and look at this white circle loading. I just recommend you to not buy this game, maybe on sale if they finish patching it up, but if Sony is this stupid to hire this studio with such a flop on their account for one of their most important games, I actually think they shouldn't get money at all for this port, even if they fix it. I would assume that Iron Galaxy had to be really cheap to hire, because there is no other explanation that I can think of that Sony would actually go and hire them to port such a game that is really important for Sony's brand. Maybe just play something else. Don't buy this game. Like Resident Evil 4 is really good and you can definitely buy that and it will work. In fact, it did work on day one. Comment, like, subscribe. Bye.